Joining me now to talk about this, two men that I hold in high esteem, two men that mean a whole lot to me. To my immediate left is General Jerry Boykin, founding member of the Delta Force, retired three-star general, has been with the Family Research Council for a decade now. And
a little more than that.
Well, I was...
Yeah, I know you're a Marine. You can't count.
I can't count. I got my shoes on.
Yeah.
And next to him is my dad, Richard Perkins. And he's here with my son. And there's three of us here. We drove over from Baton Rouge for the Stand Courageous Conference. General, so tell us about the men's conference.
I'll tell you, Tony, I'm excited about this. I think we all are. It's really shaping up here. We've got about 800 that I am aware of right now that are going to be at the conference, and I think it'll grow. It may go to 1,000 by tomorrow when people come in and register at the door.
So I want to start with a question. A lot of people think we were just talking about policy issues in Washington, D.C. That's where we're headquartered. We deal with public policy. Why is a public policy organization in Washington, D.C. doing men's conferences?
Well, first of all, we're called the Family Research Council. Now, that means that we also care about families. And men are really the head, at least the spiritual head of the family. If we don't invest in the men, there's very little chance that this country will ever be able to recover from the morass that we're in right now. But if we do invest in them, there's a very good chance that if we can get men doing what God called men to do, we can make a lot of changes in this nation.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why we're doing this. We feel 70% of the problems that face our nation could be resolved if we had the men in proper alignment with God,
Yep.
in proper alignment with their wives, leading their families and their children.
Absolutely.
And one of the things we'll talk about that relationship with the Lord tomorrow. I mean, that's front and center in our conversation here at the Stand Courageous Conference. And Dad, you came to know Christ late in life.
Yes. It was one of those things when your son leads you. He was going to vacation Bible school, and he said, Dad, I'd like to go to Sunday school. And I kept saying, yeah, okay, next Sunday. Next Sunday, finally, that Sunday came, and we walked in, and it was a church that didn't have too many people in it. And where does a 5-year-old boy go?
Yeah.
He goes right to the front.
That was before I became a Baptist. Now I sit on the back row. But the relationship with Christ transformed not only your life but our home.
Yes.
And that's the key, is that relationship. And so we're challenging men with that. So I don't want to scare any men off. But if you're missing something in your life, this is the key. It begins with that relationship with your Creator. So give us a little sense of what men are going to hear tomorrow, General.
You know, we wrote a book called Man to Man, which talks about 5 things that a man is supposed to be, that God's called a man to be. And we have 5 different people that are going to speak on each of those topics as to what a man is supposed to be. We've got people like Raphael Cruz here that will be speaking tomorrow. We've got Stu Weber, who used to be with Promise Keepers for a long time, my battle buddy. And we've got Bishop Larry Jackson that'll be here. And we've got some breakouts as well that I think are going to be just as important as what we say in the primary sessions there, because we've got some really good topics there.
I want to throw this out here. We're almost out of time for this segment, but this attack on masculinity, this has ramifications far beyond our own homes. It certainly has, as we see the culture, Hollywood trying to emasculate men. This is a national security issue as well, isn't it?
It is absolutely a national security issue. And first of all, it's an issue for many things. I just heard the other day on Fox News that there are 9.2 million men, able-bodied men, that are not working in America today. Now, that is something that is very hard for me to understand, because what that's saying is the rest of the country carries the burden of the taxes and everything else for those 9.2 million men that aren't working. And that robs them of their dignity when they don't have that. But it's also, if you look at what's happening within our military, for example, if you don't have men that have some kind of values, some kind of base in terms of who they are, what they believe, how strongly they feel about this nation, and how much pride they take in this nation, then what you basically are going to have, as we've talked before, you're going to have a mercenary military, and you don't want that, because that's dangerous.
In many ways, we've gotten here because of silence. Men have been silenced, and as a result, we've allowed others to define what being a man is. And it's really time for men to speak up. Dad, you've led men's Bible studies. Men are hungry for this. We just need to we need to be willing to challenge them.
Yes, very, very much so. Men are they want to hear the Lord's word spoken to them on a one-to-one basis.
Right. And affirmed as being men. I mean, it's okay to be a man. All right, and you're going to hear a lot of that tomorrow. All right. In fact, this will be a no wimp zone tomorrow. Right. No, none of that. We're going to be men tomorrow. We're going to be real, and this is about being what God has called us and designed us to be. We're going to talk more about this on the other side of the break. Dad, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
General, don't go anywhere.
I'll be right here.
All right.